And this is actually what I am trying to do here in Africa. The reason why I am very popular, my policy all over Africa, and every African peoples wants freedom for their people. They have requested me to tell their leaders to give them this freedom and the same policy as I did here in Uganda, because here I gave a completely full economical independence to the people of Uganda.
The thing is, the way President Idi Amin Dada is remembered should be re-examined, given the negative branding of his image, stroke regime, and the positive contributions he made.
Here, I gave a completely full economical independence to the people of Uganda. I am one of the poor leader in the world, and my intention is to work for my people, but not for me. That is the reason why you know that if you check all banks all over the world, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in the United States of America, you will never find account belong to me, because I work for the people of Uganda. I am a founder of the economic independence of Uganda.
Whereas many people were made to know President Idi Amin Dada only on the basis of the negative political history of Uganda, which carries mostly a negative image of President Idi Amin Dada, derived from the negative branding of his personality and regime, which was projected in the Western media and books written by Western scholars. Now, as the years continue to increase after the fall of his regime in 1979 and after his death in exile in Saudi Arabia on the 16th August 2003, the way President Idi Amin Dada is remembered in Uganda, Africa, and the world at large is taking a new twist.
Can you repeat your question?
Yes, with pleasure. We have seen pictures of you applauding the flogging of policemen. We have seen and heard stories, many of them, which are all validated, of thousands and tens of thousands of Asians being evicted from your country. You took their property, you didn't pay them. Is that your wave of the future? Is that all the love you're mentioning all this time?
I think you believe in rumors, and some of this picture, it is not might be from Uganda. I think the people whom I sent away of the British citizens, they were controlling 99 economy of Uganda, all business, industries, and everything. And on top of that, I requested them when I took over in 1971. The power was handed over to me by the members of the armed forces. I asked them to apply for Uganda citizenship. They refused. And they control 99% of the economy. And the whole money they are getting, they don't bank this money in Uganda. They bank this money outside Uganda. And I am sure if they were still up to now, Uganda could have been bankrupt completely. And therefore there is no other opportunity. The only opportunity was to take that decision for the interest of the people of Uganda. And then I took that decision, but I said that I will pay the compensation, and which I have written to the all government concerned. I am sure the United States, I have already paid them cash and I have written to government of United Kingdom, and the discussion is going on. And I have also written to India, which they have got a few Indians. I'm sure the delegation will be coming from India to discuss with the government of Uganda, and we shall pay. We don't say that we cannot pay, but some of the other point which you are saying, it is not true at all. You will find that Uganda is one of the best country in the world, I will say, as a president of that country.
Bullet one of the new twist. Some Ugandans now remember him as a brave person, a professional soldier, a nationalist, and a patriotic leader who genuinely loved Uganda and worked for Uganda while putting the social and economic interests of the ordinary citizens of Uganda above his own personal and family interests.
I have all Ugandans at heart, and they keep me informed, and all Ugandans, except the only few, might be opposing me, but most of them, they love me, they pass their information to me, and they want me to save them from the chaos situation which is now happening in Uganda.
When you left Uganda last year, did you manage to bring out a lot of money? Are you one of these rich leaders who've gone into exile?
No, I am not rich.
Bullet number two. Some Africans in the continent of Africa and in the diaspora now remember him as a brave person, a professional soldier, a Pan-Africanist, and a revolutionary leader who genuinely supported the liberation struggles of the enslaved, colonized, and oppressed people in Africa, America, and the Arab world.
My word which I said, the total liberation of Africa must be put into practice. If we are seriously committed. Also, what I wanted in southern part of Africa is completely in Rhodesia and South Africa majority rule. But if Rhodesia and South Africa cannot accept immediate independent to the majority rule in these two countries, including Namibia, then we must really face them militarily, because we are capable of fighting against them, of liberating that country.
The OAU had a committee called the Liberation Committee. So one of its meetings was held in Kampala, in Uganda, at the time that Idi Amin was there as head of state. So we attended the meeting, and Idi Amin kept interrupting. The ministerial meeting, and then he would come and they adjourn because His Excellency wants to address them. And he would, one message: we must intensify the struggle first in Angola, and after we finish there, we must go to Mozambique. After we finish in Mozambique, we go to Zimbabwe. Of course, we are very fed up with this Amin story. He's postponing the struggle in South Africa until whenever. Unfortunately, he says, Idi Amin, that all of the liberation movement delegations should not leave Kampala without meeting him. Fine. Yeah. So indeed we meet him. So OR must now present our case. Your Excellency, you can't say that. These things you've been saying. Why are you postponing our struggle? Say, my brother, let me explain. You see, this is called misinformation. The reason I was doing it all the time, because I want those other people to listen. They will think our strategy is to go to Angola, and then Mozambique, and then Zimbabwe. What they don't know, our target is Cape Town.
But when I'm speaking about this, I wanted people to know that I am not against whites, but a white must accept that in these countries the majority are black, and therefore it must be majority rule. And if they are to accept majority rule, I am sure those Africans will live with them in peace and harmony.
The way President Idi Amin Dada is remembered, there are people who have remained neutral, and these are mostly people who need information about the historical knowledge, information, and all that is contained in the information about Idi Amin Dada, so that they can also make their own judgment in the court of public opinion about how to remember Idi Amin Dada. The young people of West Nile and Uganda as a whole need to be told the truth about the Uganda before Idi Amin rose to power, the Uganda during the time of Idi Amin, and the Uganda after Idi Amin. Because we need to know these things, and we should be the one to speak about these things ourselves. We should be the one to document them ourselves. We should be the one to publish them ourselves. We should not only leave it to people who are outsiders to do it for us. This regime has been tagged and put on us. This one, you cannot run away from it. Should there be a situation in the near future where a son or a daughter of West Nile will rise up from here, say to serve Uganda with aspirations of serving Uganda as president, there are people who will always act negatively. And they are coming again with the reference to the bad, quote unquote, the bad Amin they have painted in the history books, in the films which have been acted about Idi Amin, in the audios which have been recorded about Idi Amin, in the dramas. They refer to you in that same image. So my brothers and sisters, the young people of West Nile, this thing is not all about Idi Amin, the one who has parted. God has taken him away from us. May he so rest in eternal peace. But it's about us who are living. It's about the younger generation and the future. We have an opportunity to correct the historical errors which were made in the written and spoken history about us. History has it that there are some times when powerful institutions, powerful people make a judgment erroneously against some individual or some people. But when an appeal is made to the court of public opinion or to the real courts, this case can be reviewed and reviewed and reviewed until a fair judgment is reached. Do you remember the history of the case of Galileo? A genius, a scientist, a physicist, and the Roman Empire, where Galileo was accused of hearsay, where Galileo was accused and sentenced to death for saying things which were deemed to be incorrect and against the establishments of the day, of that time. This case was tried in front of what is known as the Inquisition. You go and Google the case, the Inquisition. And after so many years, almost 100 years, until 1992, recently, 1992 is not very far from our time, it was discovered that Galileo was right. After like 100 years, over 100 years. You see? So put Idi Amin, Dada, and Galileo on the same scale and look at them in that kind of philosophical context. This case of Idi Amin needs to be reviewed. We have launched it. We need to re-examine. That's why our theme of this remembrance of Idi Amin is re-examine